Hi everyone and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 3rd of January 2020. I'm still really excited that it's 2020. I'm using the Alice in Wonderland deck for today's reading. If you're thinking of getting these, make sure that you look up the right version because there is an older version of this deck which is completely different and it comes in a tin packaging. So there's a really old one. This is the latest one. So just double check that before you buy them, if you buy them. We have the Queen of Swords. Then we have the Seven of Swords. And finally, we have got the King of Wands. So, Queen of Swords is a court card, so is the King of Wands. The Seven of Swords is a minor arcana card, and it's beautifully done here, isn't it? With this guy just stealing everyone's stuff. You can tell that he's a thief. It's so beautifully done. I love that. So the Queen of Swords, look, if you had a parking ticket, okay, and you were summoned to court, and you got into the courtroom and you were confronted with this, I think you would expect to receive a judgment that was a little excessive in its punitive nature, shall we say. I mean, if you walk in there and you see this judge dressed in red, out for blood, with this huge sword, off with their heads, you don't really entitled to a fair trial in this wonderland that we're in, by the looks of it. So the Queen of Swords can be nastiness and maliciousness and being biased and having preconceived notions about other people and judging them too harshly. And if you find yourself doing that today, become aware of it and become aware of your behavior. Look at it and decide what you want to do about it. If you like that about yourself, then keep it. If you don't like that about yourself, it's something that's really going to be demonstrated. However, with this feeling of being somewhat critical or harsher than you usually are, or easy to flare up, or you're a naturally passive person and you usually take care of everyone else, or you may even be a codependent person, you will really see that today. You'll see that within yourself, and that leads us into the Seven of Swords. And look at him. He's not out for anybody else but himself. He's taking those swords and he's looking at those tents and the contents of the tents, so the people. He's sneering at them with contempt and saying, I'm taking all of this and I deserve it. He's losing some in the process, but he's got food, he's got the swords, he's stealing with them, and he feels okay about it. He feels justified. So if you do have to make a really tough judgment call today, you have to make it. The King of Wands is also someone who's rather eccentric. I mean, here we've got a guy holding his crown in his hand because he'd rather be playing with his pet winged snake and trying to balance it on his nose. So the King of Wands is someone who likes excitement, who likes thrills, who likes to play jokes like this. It's all really well done in this deck. I love it. The King of Wands always appears with the salamander somehow, because the salamander is like the totem to the fire element. And in this deck, they've chosen to give him this super cool sofa, and they've given him the salamander to play with. And it's more important to him than any kind of status. Achieving what he wants to achieve, his life purpose, his mission, is what he wants to achieve. And he'd rather play while he's on that journey than be serious and really take things very... he doesn't bother himself. He doesn't trouble himself the way maybe another person would, with morals and judgments about himself. He's out to have a good time. He's out to steal, and she's out to chop some heads off. So we've got some mixed characters here, and as a combination for the day, for Friday the 3rd of January, you'll certainly be moving forward, and you can certainly achieve what it is you want and have a lot of fun doing it. But watch out for your own temper. Watch out for a sharp tongue if you have one. Watch out for treading on other people's toes and thinking that that is okay. Like you're taking someone's land and you think it's okay because it was owned by, I don't know, your family 100 years ago. Or, yeah, so it's a theft. Or you go over to your friends and you tell her all of your emotional pain for 5 hours and leave her sitting there with all your junk. You go away feeling great and bouncy and joyous. You've stolen that person's time because you've dumped all your emotional stuff on them, and you've stolen things like, oh, it'll be all right, and I'm here for you, and 5 hours. So you'll certainly get what you want. You can have fun. You can play it your way today. You really have everything that you need. You've got the Queen of Swords, so your mind is really focused. You're really able to go places with that. So you're able to make decisions. And that's what I would use the energy for. That's the best way to use this Queen of Swords. Instead of seeing actual cases, she should be involved in case law and study and the academia behind the law. And she should be an investigator of the law itself. So someone who is internal standard system, or some sort of inquisition where it's actually needed. So you can use your almost obsessive need for you to make your point today. Use that in an intellectual way where you can actually make it. Anyone who's in the debating society today will win their argument. And how can everyone win the argument, right? It's people who are in touch with this energy will win the argument. But altogether, it is not as it seems. These characters are all wearing masks. They're not really who they are. She was a little girl once who just wanted to, I don't know, yodel in the mountains, and she's turned into this really intimidating hanging judge, very excessive. He was a little boy once. What happened to him to make him so disappointed and to sneer at other people? Who told him that he was different from others? That's learned behavior. And why does he feel entitled to other people's things? There's pain behind that. This guy playing around, he's rather jolly looking. I bet he's got a hip flask somewhere. I'm making assumptions here, but also there's the irresponsibility, although this salamander seems to be participating, that it's just like there's a risk, and he's a risk taker. And maybe he was born a cheeky boy, and maybe he's stayed cheeky as he's got later. Maybe he's not wearing a mask. So that's the first thing I'm questioning here. How much of this is the card saying beware of letting yourself be pigeonholed into a certain role? What I've noticed is in family that people start telling stories about other people that have no bearing to reality at all. That there's a whole narrative going on about a person, and they put them in the light, or in a positive light, or in a negative light, and it has no connection with reality whatsoever. It's just someone's story. So I would use your great intellect and your need to win and your playful desire, which can easily turn into anger if someone challenges you and threatens you today. I would use that to discover things within yourself that you haven't been able to figure out. It's a great day to start something like meditation, it's a great day to start analyzing it's good day to do your taxes. It's a good day to apply for the visas and do all the intellectual you in connection to other people in officialdom to get what you want. So you can apply for your nationalization to become a citizen, and then you achieve one of your life goals to be a citizen of that country you've been living in for 7 years. Hooray! You are now a dual citizen and you have more options than you did before. Wonderful. So yeah, that's what I would use this for, because you're somewhat impatient. You're really just you're fired up about something, and something has disappointed you, and it makes you feel like I'm entitled to get this person back. They treated me badly, I'm going to treat them badly back. And it's not good behavior. It's not nice. My English teacher always said that if you use the word nice, it's terrible. The word nice is never to be used as an adjective. There are so many words in the English language. Why would you use nice? It's also going to come back to haunt you. If you say, oh, these people at the office have treated me so badly, and they started a narrative about me which really wasn't true and which was really offensive, I'm going to go back in there today and I'm going to blow these people out of the water and I'm going to let them have it. I am not this person you're making me out to be. You know, and as I'm talking, you see how I'm puffing myself up? I'm turning from this guy who is telling himself this story and puffing himself up to get to a place of fire and air, so anger and being really on it and sharp, but being able to twist things around and to use people's words against them in a really good and manipulative way. Good for you in a sense, but it doesn't work out in your favor. If you behave that way with other people and you make a big fuss, you get what you want, but you don't make friends. So I would stick to things that really you require your intellect, solitary, and you play with what it is you want to be doing. You have a good time, and you try and stay away from people who are likely to challenge you. If you're under a lot of stress at the moment and people are saying you should be this thing, I want you to do this and enroll in this course, or I expect you to dress a certain way when you go out because you're 50 now and I don't want you wearing mini skirts or some rubbish like that, whatever it may be. Okay, so take a deep breath. I like how she's in the mountains as well. She's very exalted, and that's what you can do. You can kind of get yourself into this exalted, snooty place of I, mine, more, I deserve, why me? It's really, you can dig your own kind of hole here to fall into. I think using this opportunity for such a critical mind, if you're gonna be critical, then use your own criticism on yourself when it comes to answering the things about yourself that you've never really understood. Why are you afraid of people? Why are you so difficult to get along with? For example, why do you fall out of love with people after 3 weeks? Or why do you become bored as soon as you know you can have that person or that that other person is interested back? Why are you sitting in a job where you've hit the ceiling and you know you could make a move and really, really thrive and succeed, where you wouldn't have to feel like you're doing something that's beneath you, but that really excites you? What's holding you back? So, you know, when you're pointing your finger at people, it's that old thing of 3 fingers are pointing back at yourself. If you're going to criticize anyone, criticize yourself with love. The only way you change is through love. And criticism really isn't a loving thing. So if you see something in yourself that you don't like, or yeah, that's held you back, then okay, I have had this fear, and if I'm really going to be honest with myself, it's a fear. I haven't taken the job. That's better because I feel like a fraud. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm not ready yet. And if I do that job, I will be exposed and people will see who I really am. So if that's the kind of fear you're carrying around, embrace it. What you resist persists. It's something that you have. There's no shame in being afraid. And there's no shame in feeling like you're not good enough or you're not up to it. Everyone feels that way. Don't take it so seriously. Let the King of Wands invite you to his party and have a little bit of a party. And if you are going to be hard on anything or anyone, let it be the things that are conducive in that environment. Bureaucracy, any legal things that require filling out. Yeah, visa things and officialdom and taxes and bank statements and all of that. It's a really good day to sort all of the numbers out and to actually have a little bit of fun with that. Rather than giving yourself a hard time or giving other people a hard time and exalting yourself into a state of hysteria when there is no need. You know, I've wasted so much time in the past getting upset about things that didn't even matter. Like 2 weeks later, you don't even remember why you were so upset. And once you've done that a couple of times, you don't do it over and over and over again. You learn as you go along that kind of emotional energy, I'm going to pick my battles. I'm not going to get upset about everything, every tiny little thing, even if I've dealt with it in the past, especially when I've dealt with it in the past, like 80 times before. I'm over getting upset about it, for example. So number-wise, we've got the Queen of Swords, that counts as 1. The King of Wands, that counts as 1. And the Seven of Swords, so we've got 9. 9 is the same number as yesterday's. It's spirituality and completion. Remember who you are, that you are perfect in spiritual truth, and that all this hardness is something that's learned. I was talking about the masks that people wear. If you're really beating yourself up or beating up other people, when did you become the queen of the castle? When did you become the nobleman who thinks he's better than everyone else? Take a breath. Don't take it so seriously. Realize that you're okay. You don't have to overcompensate and prove yourself to anybody. Woe unto the person who asks you to prove yourself today, because you will really prove yourself and you will blow them out of the water. So if you're going for a job interview, you're going to really, really absolutely know everything. You will be amazing. Try and have a little bit of fun as well. Inject some of your charm into it. But certainly in terms of the communication, you will be fluent and able to articulate and answer the questions that they ask you. If a customer rang you and asked you about their television and said that the screen was flickering, what would you do? Have you been in that situation before? If so, please describe the experience. Those kind of questions, you'll be able to come up with an anecdote immediately. So you're certainly not at a loss for words today. Communication and thinking is very, very easy. And if you realize that you're perfect and complete within yourself through a spiritual connection, you're able to have some fun using this intellectual power that you've got, and you can progress on your soul mission. The King of Wands, after all, is in charge of the element of fire, and like Prometheus stealing fire from the gods, having fire at your control is really something. It starts machines and life, and it's your life having something, I am meant to be doing this and I feel fulfilled by doing it. That's priceless. Especially if it becomes your work, because then every day is just a joy. So have a lovely, lovely Friday. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via the website, gregoryscott.com. On the front page, just click on the button to order your personal reading with me. I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my reading, so I can answer any questions you may have. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and share the video online. That'd be awesome of you. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.